Hello, welcome everybody. So, if you haven't been keeping up with any news of the school that I go to, I don't know why you would. I don't even know if they've announced it or anything. I have officially become the school's DJ for any of their games and commentating. If commentating, DJing, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But this gig's only been going on since like the beginning of like February. It's been pretty cool. Never even knew this was a gig I could possibly get. But I want to tell you the story of not only how the gig's been going and that sort of deal, but also how did it all start? How did I become the DJ slash commentator or announcer of the games that are held at my school? How? How is it possible? It all starts with Millball. Now, with Millball, there's even more backtracking that we have to go. So, around the week of Millball, there's a whole thing that we do for the seniors. And the whole thing that we do for the seniors is that they go through a sword arch and we have someone announce them. I had no idea that we actually had people announce who the seniors were. Never knew that was a thing. All I knew is that the seniors got to pick their own songs, what they wanted to walk out to, and that was about it. So, on the ride to school, I believe I'm pretty sure it was on a Wednesday, to my knowledge. It was on a Wednesday. Wednesday, so that would be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it would be like a day or two before Millball. With that in mind, I get a text from Jared, who's my platoon commander, and he's like, hey, I need you to come down to the ROTC room. You know, our CO, which is the commanding officer, which is like the highest rank that a student can be. Emma Bridges wants to talk to you, and he's like, listen, it's nothing bad. We just need you to get here, and she just needs to talk to you about something. I'm like, listen, man, I'm on a bus right now, so, don't expect me to be there right away. He's like, all right, just get here as soon as you can. I'm like, you got it, man. So, bus stops, eventually at the school, get off, go to the ROTC room, see her, and I go to her, and she's like, Hubert, listen. We need someone to announce the seniors for the sword arch that we're doing for them. And the first person that came to my mind was you. So, will you do it? I thought about it for a bit, and I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? I got nothing better to do. And she's like, all right, cool. Remember to come to after school today, so I can go over the list with you and I can share it with you and all that sort of thing. Also, don't forget to come to after school for the Palmia table that we're doing at Millball. Now, the Palmia table is basically prisoners of war missing in action. It's basically a table that commemorates slash remembers those who have given up their lives in the line of service, line of duty, that sort of thing. So I'm like, all right, you got it. I show up to after school. We go over how to set up the table and stuff, who does what are our cues, what happens when, and I get the very important job of pulling up the table, which is not the table. What am I talking? I'm on something right now. Pulling up the chair. Now the chair. Last year, we had Tim have the chair, and apparently he tripped with the chair. I don't know how, but he just did. So he tripped with the chair. So it's like, listen, just don't do that. All right. I'm like, all right, you got it. And then after that practice is over, I go up to Emma and I'm like, okay, so we got to do the whole thing, right? And she's like, yeah. So I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to share the document with you. These are all the lists of the seniors. These are the songs they're coming out to. You don't have to worry about that. So all you have to do is just announce their names. There are a few tricky ones. Just look over the list really quickly and tell me which ones you don't know how to fully pronounce. I'm like, all right, I'm looking through the list. I don't know around half of these people, but, I get some tips on, how to say some people's names, and I'm like, all right, cool. She's basically like, listen, you can do what you want with this role. We just really need you to do it, basically. And I'm like, listen, you have nothing to regret. You picked the perfect person for this job. I won't disappoint you. And so then I go Thursday, which is the day after I find out all of this. I go to the ROTC class in between 8th and 9th period because I thought we were doing like something specific with a bunch of like other people in my platoon and other stuff like that. So I thought we were doing something with that. It was the J Lab. I thought we were doing the J Lab with me and a bunch of other people that period. But anyways, I go in thinking I'm there for the J Lab. I see Emma, and she's like, "Oh, perfect timing. Listen." So I was talking to Captain, who's one of our ROTC teachers, about the whole deal and the thing, and he's like, "Listen, traditionally, if it's a male with a female guest, you say the person's name escorting the date's name. But if it's a female with a male date, you say escorted by blah blah blah. Traditional, traditional values, that sort of deal." I'm like, "All right, cool, keep that in mind." And again, he restates to me that, like, "Hey, listen, you can do what you want with this role, that sort of deal. We just really need you to just be there, do it, and it'll be awesome. I know it. I know it will be." I'm like, "All right, you got it." And then I see Jared, who's on the J-Lab team, and I'm like, "Hey, man, we got the J-Lab today." He's like, "No, that's next week." I'm like, "Oh, okay, bye, see ya." So then I go to A-Push after that. It's fucking stupid. Anyways, though, the Tale of Millball arrives, baby. We're there super early. They're like, "Listen, we need you to come early so you can introduce yourself to the DJ, so you can get set up and all that sort of stuff. Also, make sure to bring your Chromebook or print it out." I decided to bring my Chromebook with me, and I go over there. I meet up with Emma, meet up with Captain. Captain eventually introduces me to the DJ, that sort of deal. DJ gives me a mic. He's like, "All right, listen, we'll be good." The thing is supposed to start at 6, but it gets pushed back to 6:30 due to unexpected delays with, like, for Millball, there were a bunch of higher-ups from the school that were showing up, like principals, administrators, that sort of deal. Like, a bunch of higher-ups were supposed to show up. One of them was, like, running late, so we had to delay time for them. And so basically, we were also supposed to do a color guard event for Millball, but we brought the wrong flags, and the flags poked a hole in the roof, so we had to scratch the color guard event, which was, a bit sad. But anyways, we got the whole sword arch set up, that sort of deal, and it's like, all right, we need all the seniors in this specific room, that sort of deal. And then it's like, all right, here's my big moment, I gotta announce the names, I gotta do all this stuff. We start, and we're banging, dude. We're popping off. I got Jared next to me. We got songs coming out. We got Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus, bro. Me and Jared are going crazy. I don't even know if that's the song. We're going crazy, though. It's awesome. It's a fun time. We got tons of people loving it, living it up. They're like, "Oh, damn." I'm looking at the expression of some of the people's faces. They're like, "This guy's doing this? What? This guy's on something, dude. You see this right now?" That sort of deal. And then eventually then we do the Palmia table, which is spectacular. It was cool. It was a nice memento for sure. I did the chair, no flaws at all. You'll love to see it. That's what we love to see right there. Anyways, though, I go back to my assigned table, and my table's actually across from, like, the higher-ups table, and you got people like Mrs. Schumacher, like, complimenting me, like, saying how good I was and that sort of stuff. You got Captain coming over to me, like, shaking my hand and stuff, being like, "You did a really good job." I feel really bad for anybody for the person who has to do that next year. That person's just not going to be able to top that by any means. I'm like, "Yeah, thank you. I know, I went crazy, popped off." And then we got Chalmers coming up to me, and it's like, she's like, "Where have you been this entire time? I have been looking for someone just like you." And I didn't know how to say. I'm like, "I don't know. I've just been sitting here for like the last 2 seconds. I don't know what to tell you." Anyways, though, she's like, "Listen, all right, you would be perfect for like a commentating job, that sort of deal." She's like, "Listen, we'll talk on Monday." And I'm like, "All right, you got it." So talk on Monday. Millball proceeded to go very well up until around 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, the power went out, and it did not get restored. So we had to leave home early around, I want to say 2.5 hours early. Bummer, that sort of deal. It sucks and all, yada yada, blah blah blah, that sort of deal. It was still a fun event until then. It's just a real shame that it got cut short. Nonetheless, though, Monday comes up, And then I go to speak to Chalmers on Monday at lunch because that she monitors downstairs at lunch, and I have lunch 6 period. So I go and talk to her, and she's like, "Listen, all right, I'm gonna give. All right, so listen, we have a game going on Wednesday. No, actually, before this, she's like, listen, yeah, blah 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 blah. That I'm losing words right now. Okay, give me a second, please." Nah, so she's basically like, listen, we had some kid like you a couple years ago. I want you to be like, I want you to sort of be like the mentor of the youngins. I want you and this program to continue. I want the program to continue even after you graduate. The goal right now is for us to get new people interested in the program so that if you're not available for one game, I can have someone else be available for that game. I want this program to continue because I've been spending years looking for someone to take over this role for a long time, and we really need this program to continue and that sort of thing. I'm like, all right, you got it. I won't let you down. Nonetheless, though, she's like, listen, I want to use you for the spring season, which is going to be lacrosse, baseball, that sort of deal. So I'm going to do that for that. So I'm going to have you do the spring season, that sort of stuff, because our fall season or winter season currently is like ending soon. So you're just going to get prepared for the spring season, that sort of deal. And later on Wednesday, on Monday, she emails me like, hey, on Wednesday, I want you to go to the game that we have. It's going to be senior night for girls varsity basketball. And she's like, listen, I just want you to show up. You're going to learn from Mr. Woods how the rope is going. How to learn the ropes and that sort of deal. And basically just figure out how to do all of this stuff. I'm like, all right, you got it. I won't let you down. I'll be there. I take a taxi to go over there. I take a taxi to go over to the school. Make it there. I'm kind of looking a little bit lost. I talked to some of my ROTC buddies that were there for like color guard practice, something like that. Talk to them. I have a bag with me, and one of Jenna points it out, and she's like, what's in the bag? I'm like, food and stuff so I don't die. And she's like, smart. And then we high five, that sort of deal. I talked to my boy Ryan a little bit, and then I go off, and then I see in like the office area that's right across from the nurse's office, Chalmers is in there. And then Chalmers basically walks with me down to the gym where the game is going to be hosted, and she's like re-explaining stuff that she said on Monday, like, listen, you're going to be like, I'm going to use you for the spring season, that sort of deal. You're going to learn from Woods. You're going to learn the ropes from him. You're going to learn all the things you have to from him. Don't worry. I believe in you. You got this. I'm like, all right, you got it. I go over to the seat where I'm going to be sitting, and all of a sudden, she's like, all right, you're going to be DJing. I'm like, okay, I didn't expect to be DJing. And she's like, I really liked your music choice at Millball. And then that sort of clicked. It's like, oh, she thinks that I was doing the entrance music for the seniors. I don't know if she thought that the Chromebook next to me was like the links for the different songs they chose or the songs that I chose for them. But I wasn't doing any of the songs. Luckily for me, I do enjoy music very much, and my music choice is relatively clean. So thankful for that. I also brought a portable charger with me because I knew that my dad was going to be picking me up, and I didn't know what time the game ended, so I brought that to make sure that my phone didn't die. I'm very, very thankful that I brought that with me, because if not, oh boy, were we screwed or what? Also, there was like, I think it was like an aux cord or something like that. She's like, hey, do you have like a jack that you can put this cord in? And I'm like, yeah, I got that right here. And thankfully for me, she didn't have to bring like an extension piece because my phone is an iPhone 6. It's the last phone that has a headphone jack before they get rid of it. So because of that, we also didn't need to bring in some like extension piece to work with my phone, which again, I'm very thankful for. It's insane how many coincidences just happen in this. And basically, I'm watching the boys' varsity game that's going on. It's not the last game of the season yet, but I'm just watching it. I'm watching how Woods injured. Well, Woods knows who I am because I had study hall with him last year. And no, it was either study hall or lunch freshman year, something like that I had with him. and we just like, he knows who I am, that sort of deal. We introduce ourselves to each other in like somewhat of a formal manner. It's like, listen, do this, do that, blah blah, that sort of deal. And basically, it's like, all right, watching the game, going. Me and Woods have to coordinate here because there's only one cord that works for the microphone and works for the music. It's very clunky, but we were able to get the tempo down towards the end of the first game. And then I thought after the boys varsity game that was it. I was calling in a night. That was it. That was cool, It was fun seeing all of that. But no, there's actually another game going on. It's the varsity senior night girls game. I had no idea that we were doing any of this, which completely shocked me. I texted my dad to come pick me up. He's already on his way. By the time the game starts, he already shows up, and I'm just like angling him to sit down where everyone else is, that sort of deal. So yeah, no, the game was cool. Unfortunately, both teams lost that night. Sad moment, but music choice was good. We got the crowd going. We got some people in the crowd moving, mixing, jamming. They're loving it. That sort of deal, that sort of thing. Chalmers told me that like during halftime, that after the boys varsity game, that she's like, listen, the kids behind me, they're going crazy. They're asking like, who's doing the music? And she's like, Huber, and they can't believe that it's him, blah blah blah. They're loving it. They're loving you. They're loving all this theatrics and that sort of deal, that sort of stuff. And she's like, hey, keep it going, keep it moving. You got this, that sort of stuff. And then towards the end of, I believe, the girls varsity game, Woods talks to me and it's like, hey, listen, I don't know if Chalmers talked to you about Wednesday on Friday, but if you're cool with doing Friday, you can take over, man. And I'm like, all right, cool, gotcha. And so then on Thursday, and then Woods is like, we'll let you know on Thursday what's going on. And on Thursday, Chalmers emails me being like, hey, can you do Friday for girls senior night, for girls varsity senior night basketball? that sort of thing. And I'm like, you got it. I'll be there. Count on it. So no, not girls varsity, boys varsity senior night. Sorry, I'm getting all this stuff mixed up. Nonetheless, I'm like, you got it. I'll be there. So I show up really early. It's Also, she also tells me that there's a JV game going on before the boys varsity senior night game's going on. So she's like, if you want to do that game as well, more power to you. I'm like, all right, you got it. I'll be there for both games. Count on it. I show up and I'm talking to the person. So I'm doing the commentating, which is like announcing who gets points, fouls, and I'm also doing the DJing part. And thankfully, this is easy because I already saw that me and Woods had to like switch out the chords, and it's easier with one person than two people. And there's a new person doing the book, and I didn't talk to the person throughout the entire first quarter. And then after the first quarter ended, I'm like, hey, listen, whoever scores a point, you tell me who that person is, and then I'll announce their names. Not only because I didn't know all the names of the people on the Brewster team, but also because I had no idea who the flip is on the other team. Like, I don't know who's on the other team. I don't know their names or anything like that sort of deal. It starts out slow, a couple miscues here and there, but eventually we get the chemistry going, and it's flowing, and we're good. Senior night shows up. We got tons of people coming in. Tons. Boatloads of people coming in. Like it's nothing. Tons of people coming in. That sort of deal. And then... tons of people coming. The game is hype. If you were not there for the game, you have no idea how hype it was. It was an incredible game. Towards the end of the third quarter, dude, I was doing theatrics with the crowd, man. You got Julius... doing like dances for me to do. You got Krebs doing like a fishing rod. I'm flopping to the other side like a fish, bro. That sort of deal, man. Like it was crazy. By the end, during the break between the end of the third and the start of the fourth, I did the worm. It wasn't a very good worm by any means. I had never attempted in my entire life. Nonetheless, I still did do it, and the crowd was loving it, bro. It was insane. The energy levels. I mean, towards the end of the game, I turned off the music because of how damn close it was. Brewster was coming back. It was 64-62. Pivotal, critical moments going on in this matchup. And then some lady from, I believe, the John Jay side was like, where's the music? Play some music. And I'm like, I get on the mic, I'm like, no, we're not playing music. This is the best game I've ever seen. We're going to keep it rolling. That sort of stuff to get like the crowd even more motivated. Unfortunately, they did lose. It was sad, you know. Well, you know, like why fake a comeback? Nah, it was an incredible game though. That sort of deal. And then on Monday, I talked to Chalmers about how I've been doing so far and that sort of deal. And she's, no, not on Monday. I talked to her, I think, on Wednesday? No, it was it Monday? No, it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday because I was wearing a suit when I was talking to her, I'm pretty sure. Could have also been Monday. Honestly, I don't remember. All I know is that I talked to her about the whole thing. She's like, listen, the crowd is loving you, the fans are loving you, that sort of deal, you know, the energy's good, that sort of thing, everything's going well. I'm like, all right, sick. This is what you like to see right there. No, actually, it was on Friday after the Thursday game that I did. All right. Apparently, there was the girls' varsity team is in the playoffs. Now, I don't know if they're still in the playoffs, but at the time of the game, it was their first playoff game, and the game got moved from Wednesday to Thursday, and it became a home game for Brewster. And Chalmers emails everyone that could possibly go. It's like, hey, listen, I need to know who can come to this Thursday game, and I'm like, I got you. Don't worry, we're going. I show up, it's only one game this time around. My family comes in this time. They're like ready to see me. They're all hyped and stuff, yada yada, blah blah blah. Show up, got the music going, yada yada. It's a fun time. The girls demolish the opponents. I mean, it's not even, they won by 40, bro. It was a demolishing 2 buzzer beaters. I mean, it was an incredible game to say the least. I was loving it. Crowd was loving it. It was a great game for sure. Nonetheless, though, I talked to Chalmers on Friday, and he's like, listen, and she's like, listen, Coach Rado texted me. He was watching the live stream. He texted me that we have to have Huber do the soccer games for the fall season, and I'm like, that's crazy. I didn't know I was doing that good of a job, honestly. And she's like, listen, all I need you to do is just like, that's basically it for like the winter season. We're going to get you geared up for the spring season. I'm going to give you the schedule. You tell me what games you can do, and we'll work off of that. And I'm like, all right, you got it. And so, yeah, that's basically where it all stands right now. Currently, as of recording this, it is like towards the end of winter break, right? Winter break? Yeah, winter break. Towards the end of that, you know, it's all cool and stuff. Don't know if any of you care. I've been relaxing. Nonetheless, I thank all of you for listening to my dumbass speak for the last 23 minutes. What am I going on? 23 minutes. And, yeah, that's it.